Good evening, everybody. I wanted to bring this one to you guys, but I wanted to wait until I made my next video. And I apologize that I didn't go live yesterday, even though I said I would. We had a lot going on this weekend, and we took tomorrow or today's Monday, actually. But yeah, we took tomorrow off, so today and tomorrow. So, to be honest, just in the last half hour or so, just got it settled down enough to be able to make this video, actually. But yeah, I wanted to highlight this one here because this is incredible. This is literally just incredible. I came across this one 2 days ago, and the first thing I said was, of course they would do this. And they're not hiding it. So I guess it's all cool, right? It's all part of the whole new world, right? It's all part of in the name of COVID and climate. This is ridiculous. People are still falling for this. 19 months later, they knew if they got that 2 weeks, if they got the 2 weeks to slow the spread, and people went along with it, maybe they could try a month. Maybe they could try 6 months. Maybe they could try 19. Oh, maybe we'll just go until people start pushing back. See how much we can get done. And I always refer to that quote. I believe, I'm not sure exactly who it was. I want to say it was, I don't think it was Voltaire, but it was somebody like that. And they said, there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. That is what we have seen. We have seen this entire time, before it even started. That's the amazing part. Before any of this even started, people were saying they're going to go this route with the climate and with a pandemic. Lo and behold, Event 201, plus 21 months, here we are, right? Anyway, get a load of this. Climate Lockdown's new CO2 Monitoring Credit Card enables tracking of carbon footprint on every purchase, monitors and cuts off spending when we hit our carbon max. Mastercard and UN join forces. So, they're just taking over everyone's ability and how much you can spend, how much money you can have. Nobody sees a problem with this. It's football season. They can get away with all kind of stuff right now. Nobody sees a problem with this. The World Economic Forum praised the economy. Quote, while many of us are aware that we need to reduce our carbon footprint, advice on doing so can seem nebulous, and keeping a tab is difficult. Do monitors and cuts off spending when we hit our carbon max. Now, what defines your carbon max? That's the real question. Let me guess, you go out and buy a car. You get your 16, 17-year-old child a car, or help them get a car when they start driving, and well, you reached your carbon footprint max for the year. Can't get gas, can't get nothing. That's where this is going. And if you don't see that, take everything else into consideration. We knew they were going to drop the virus at a certain time and go with the climate stuff. Let's take a look at the top here. It says Global Climate Action, United Nations Climate Change. So, people can't seem to tell what's reality and what's not anymore, and that's the part that I think scares me the most. Climate Depot's Mark Morano, quote, this CO2 monitoring credit card will begin as a voluntary measure with no mandate. But how long until this CO2 card will be mandated by big corporations in collusion with governments? Given how the climate activists are aping the lockdowns, expect this credit card to be mandatory under climate emergency. Yes, all they have to do is declare an emergency on anything now. That's it. And all the FEMA executive orders that empower FEMA says in any emergency they can do what they are supposed to do. And then when FEMA was absorbed into the Department of Homeland Security, those powers only got greater. Trust me. Okay, get ready for a Chinese-style social credit system scoring when it comes to your personal spending habits and how they impact climate change. Oh yeah, you're going to get plastered on a billboard because you rode a dirt bike. That's what they do in China. People that jaywalk, they get put on the side of buildings as a criminal. You think the humiliation here is bad. A new credit card called Doconomy has launched that it's working in tight collaboration with Mastercard and an alliance with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, is now available so you can monitor your personal CO2 budget on every purchase you make. I don't even have to sit here and explain the implications of something like this. Anybody with a working brain with even 2 neurons that you can rub together and create a little spark, anybody with any kind of working brain can tell you that this is world government control. Everything is being handed over to the United Nations at this point in time. They might even change the name of the United Nations when it's all done with. The new CO2 Monitoring Mastercard called Doconomy debuted in order to enable all users to track, measure, and understand their impact by presenting their carbon footprint on every purchase. The credit cards feature the slogan on them reading, Do everyday climate action. That is so stupid. And have a personal pledge on the rear of the card boasting, I'm taking responsibility for every transaction I make to help protect the planet. MasterCards feature UN Global Climate Action logo on them as well. I can just see it now, people running around saying, I'm taking responsibility for every transaction I make to help protect the planet. What are you doing? Like, oh, did you read that on the back of your MasterCard? And you know that this is all going to go digital. This is probably a prototype. Right here. They're going to launch the prototype, get people to take this card, and then eventually when they transition everything over to digital, like we know they are ready for, then this will just absorb into the one world currency, you guys. We need a whole new currency for, well, because we're going to need to clamp down on climate and selfishness and people that own property and good, hardworking people that just want to be left alone. We're going to take everything they have because carbon footprint. Oh, and there's a virus. Whenever we started accepting all of the restrictions that have been foisted on us the last 19 months, that set a precedent. And the precedent now is that they can do whatever the hell they want. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, oh, Austin, they can't do that. They can't do that, Austin. That'll never happen. And it's happened. I don't ever want to hear that again. The World Economic Forum praised Doconomy. Quote, while many of us are aware that we need to reduce our carbon footprint, advice on doing so can seem nebulous and keeping tab is difficult. Do monitors and cuts off spending when we hit our carbon max, the World Economic Forum wrote on the Doconomy CO2 monitoring website. So, gee, there's your spearheader of the Great Reset, the ones who launched it in the public eye. The Doconomy credit card website explains, with fat, sugar, and salt levels labeled on food we buy, why shouldn't our CO2 emissions be just as visible? Asked the Doconomy website. This type of information shouldn't be premium or luxury that consumers pay for, but rather an essential part of every shopping journey. The website details how the credit card will help consumers understand their impact by presenting their carbon footprint on every purchase. Are you kidding me? This is just in addition to the biggest scam that has ever been perpetrated on the American people by the New World Order. No more, no less. Matthias Wilkstrom, the CEO of Doconomy, explained reducing carbon emissions needs to be prioritized by all parties. At Doconomy, we are proud to engage and educate around our lifestyles' impact on the planet. The financial sector has developed a tremendous efficiency. Now that same force can address the planetary fragility. This new CO2 monitoring credit card follows on the heels of a new study in the journal Nature in August 2021 calling for personal carbon allowances that would monitor individual CO2 emissions through smart meters and tracking apps. Allowances like they're trying to be your parents. What has always happened when government or any control mechanism built by man, when have they ever acted like your parents and terrible things did not happen? Government was the #1 killer in the 20th century. And you can look that up. It is not hidden. Oh, but that was other people's governments, man. That's not the U.S. government. That'll never happen here. That can't happen here. It has a long time ago, and it will soon. They are not stopping with any of this. They have no intention on letting off the brake. No intention on letting off the brake. By them doing this, getting the United Nations to ally itself with the Mastercard, and it won't just be Mastercard, it'll be Visa, it'll be all of them. This is just one of those let's test it moments. And if they could do it with this, they could do it with everything else. It won't stop at climate. And they're going to force everybody off the land because of it. Oh, look, it's destroying everything anyway. Because of, our technology that we go, and it's on record that directed energy weapons are real and used, and there's video evidence. But people would just say, no, that's not what that is. Okay, Doconomy's new CO2 monitoring card boasts that it has started providing 90 million consumers with carbon footprint insights. Already 90 million people. That's terrible. Same thing as the shot. They got a whole bunch of people that already took that shot. When they're ready to launch, they're ready to launch. And with all the predictive programming and fanfare surrounding the rise of the, so-called Taliban in Afghanistan again, and just all of that, plus the volcano that just erupted that is doing, it's terrible. It's immeasurable amount of damage. It all just seems too perfect. Okay. The credit card was launched with the aim of educating all consumers around climate impact information as a first step toward driving awareness around the climate crisis. Yeah, as a first step toward driving awareness around the climate crisis. They will control every aspect of your life in the name of saving the climate because it's gone crazy. We did so much damage on it. No, they have been geoengineering for a long time. On record. Oh, where's your record? Go outside on your porch. Ready for it? Open up your door, walk outside on your porch, and look up at any given time. And you can explain your way with contrails all day long, but you can see the difference because the contrails, they dissipate, like right behind the plane. But the other kind, they go all the way across the sky, and they expand. So, yeah. And that's not even the only proof on that either. So, they have orchestrated this entire thing. A series of catastrophic events to bring the world to its knees, as they wrote about in the 1800s. Okay, so I'm just going to go through here a little bit, just kind of go down, just basically show you what this is. One certainty can't expect people to change their One certainly can't expect people to change their behaviors and take climate action if they do not know what their climate footprint is or what their consumption represents. And that's coming from the United Nations. Nicholas Svenningsson. And this guy's the manager at the Global Climate Action UN Climate Change Secretariat. Okay. Yeah, it's all coming to fruition. Everything's going to be monitored via apps and QR codes and readings from, well, refer to patent WO 2020-060606 to find out what that is. Klarna is taking a brilliant step to educate 90 million users at the very core of consumption. That's weird. I've seen that term and that name on the back of a shirt. That's weird. It's really weird. And they go on to explain, China's social credit system has been compared to Black Mirror, Big Brother, and every other dystopian future sci-fi writers can think up. The reality is more complicated and in some ways worse. China's social credit system expands the idea to all aspects of life, judging citizens' behavior and trustworthiness. Caught jaywalking, don't pay a court bill, play your music too loud on the train, you could lose certain rights such as booking a flight or a train ticket. Yeah, and in the United States, if you don't take something that they want you to take, you can't board a plane or do anything either. So we're not too far behind. And there's so many. I will leave the link to this whole thing if you want to read it, but I just wanted to bring it to your awareness. Check this out. Dr. Leanna Wen of the Washington Post, a CNN medical analyst. It's not a constitutional right to board a plane. So if you want to travel, you better go get that thing. Vaccine. Quote, I think we need to make it clear that there are privileges associated with being an American. And this Lena Wen, that's the woman that we saw on Days of Noah live stream. That if you wish to have these privileges, you need to get vaccinated. Travel and having the right to travel in our state, it's not a constitutional right as far as I know to board a plane. And so saying that you want to stay on... Jeez. That's your choice, but if you want to travel, you better go get that vaccine. So, yeah, we're not too far behind here in the United States. And that will become a reality, which is just... oh, it's unthinkable. I never thought when I was a kid, learning about the United States of America and what this land is and what it means to me. Remember we used to do those little speeches in school at the end of the year for Memorial Day or whatever. What being an American means to me. And we all said freedom and this and that. And now, they're not even teaching kids about freedom. They're not even teaching kids what the Constitution says. And this woman is wrong because in the Constitution it says that we all have a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And part of a liberty under that category is the, free roam as an American citizen and to use any and all tools or new technologies to get around to wherever you want to go, because this is America. And now we have private plane companies, and you can barely get your own plane to fly unless you have a whole lot of money. So, yeah. This is the way they were going to do it. Big corporations. Thomas Jefferson had a quote about big corporations being associated with debt currency. We've had debt-based currency since 1913. This is the route they're going, and it's terrible to even... and there's so many links here that you guys can go and read about and all this here, and then this is where it ends. I will leave a link to this, but yes, just know that Mastercard and the United Nations are now forming a partnership for carbon footprint, if you will. Hey, you want to go visit your mother, and your mother lives about an hour away, so you get in your car and you drive an hour away and you drive an hour back home, and guess what? You've reached your carbon footprint for the whole week. You're going to say, we need to save the planet. We're destroying it. And all of this leads to, we need to get rid of some people. That's what they could do under the climate stuff. Like old Bill Gates was talking about TED Talk in 2010. He was talking on the CO2 consumption of people. And he said, here's a little equation. Remember back to high school algebra. And he had an equation up there that was like, whatever. And that's when he said the world today is 6.8 billion people, headed up to about 9 billion if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services. We could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. So, yeah. I will make a video tomorrow, and if I don't, I will go live. I know I said I was going to do it yesterday, but I have been busy, and I do apologize for that, but I want to get back on the horse because there's a lot going on. But I just wanted to bring this one to you guys because this is why we have to get rid of the, well, they're already getting rid of the cash, but we need to use the cash and transfer it to maybe a barter system, even within your county. Counties have the power to issue their own currency. Those laws are just buried. But barter and trade has always been the best way to go, because I have something that you want, and you have something that I want. Think yard sales. Think anything like that. I don't know. But God bless every single one of you, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Good night.